Guys, it's another episode of the Baby Mothers podcast. Thank you for joining us. I do apologise for not being around for a few weeks. I feel like we haven't recorded in ages. But as you can imagine, being a mum, we are busy. We have lots of things going on outside of the show. So I do apologise, but we are back and we are going to get into the nitty gritty. As you can see, I am joined by the lovely Tamzin.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us. So what I want to talk about today is I've noticed a bit of a trend in the episodes. I guess that I would say where there's some kind of unhealthy relationships going on. Yeah. So I thought let's talk about that today, because how can you have a good parenting relationship if it's built on an unhealthy relationship in the beginning?
Rocky foundation.
Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. Because obviously now there are times when the relationship can be good. You might have been with someone for quite a long time. And when a baby comes along, you know, everyone says that will have pressures, added responsibilities, and that alone can change the relationship.
Oh, it will change the relationship.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
regardless, yeah.
Honeymoon period is over.
Yeah.
You know, the spontaneity goes, like things are going to be different. Yeah. So that's hard enough as it is, right? And that takes work.
Yeah.
But some of the things I think I've noticed with some of the previous guests is that it didn't start off
as a nice, healthy relationship in the first place.
I feel like it already started off quite unhealthy. So how on earth was you going to bring a child into that and make that better? Does that make sense? So let's talk about what makes an unhealthy relationship.
I think there's a number of different things, but I think ultimately there are red flags, like that if you see them in the first couple of months, it's like, time out. It should be ringing alarm bells with you. So like my first thing is criticism. Yeah. And it's okay to criticize someone, but you've got to think about when you're being criticized or your partner is criticizing you or suggesting things to you, constructive criticism. You've got to weigh up, is it actually constructive for our relationship? Is this person saying, oh babe, you could do that a different way, because they want to help you improve, get better, do it more efficiently, whatever the thing may be? Or are they criticizing you to slowly grind you down? Because I think can lead into abuse.
Because I think that's what some maybe of our previous mums kind of have felt. I feel like they have been putting across that they were getting treated in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen, you know, I think it's important to maybe try and hold some women more accountable for the situations that they have
in the first place.
Yeah, and have ended up in. Yeah. Because like you said, if you had noticed some of these signs in the beginning and done something about it, then you wouldn't have got to a situation where
it wouldn't have gone so far.
Do you know what I mean? And you are pregnant and now having a baby, and then how is a positive gonna come from something maybe that was quite negative in the first place? Do you see what I mean? And you know, sometimes I think the women do put a lot of kind of blame on the dads. You know, they do say that, you know, the relationship wasn't good and he was doing this and he was doing that and and then, you know, we've had a baby and it's gone like this. And some people might say, okay, but why didn't you notice then?
Or
why don't you do something about it?
Choose to continue on hoping that the relationship would get better by having a baby.
Yes.
Because a baby isn't glue. And I think if you've never had a child before and you're saying you're mid to early 20s and, you know, you're in a relationship or a situationship and you think, oh, you've got pregnant, and then you're like, you're then stuck with making a choice. And for some people, there isn't a choice. Yeah. And I understand that. I understand that some people's beliefs are like, if you got pregnant, boy, then we're pregnant.
Yeah. I feel it's definitely better to prevent that situation, because like you said,
is what we're talking about, so it's better to prevent. Yeah. So it's better to have a healthier relationship, not only with that person or whoever you date, but with yourself. So if you know that you're going to be caught in situations where morning after pill might not happen, or the condom might not be
don't
worn,
happen,
or you're not on any contraception yourself, then whose responsibility is it then if you then fall pregnant?
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, how many babies have been born that way?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and obviously men and women tend to have a very different standpoint on, you know, men probably find it a bit easier, I think, to just say, okay, cool, let's get rid of it because we didn't want this to happen. And like you said, women get in the situation and then think, I can't.
Yeah, because
so
it's more for us.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you said, how many women have actually, like before they got pregnant, actually said, I would like to have a baby with this person because this person is treating me good, our relationship is going good, and they'll think they'll make a good parent. I mean, I'm not sure that is the common
not for a lot of people
way that children are coming into the world. Do you see what I mean? And that's where women have to just take some ownership, because that's why now, you know, your child's 5 years old and you've been in this situation for 5 years and it's not been going well, and do you know what I mean? And not only is it affecting you, because it is going to be affecting you, the constant negativity and conflict with the baby father, but it's also going to be having an impact on the child. So yeah, I think we need to get to a point where we just talk about, let's prevent this from happening.
Yeah, it's like, let's take it back to basics, because first and foremost, the healthiest relationship that you should ever really have, and I'm learning this now, and I'm 35, but in the last 5 years, I've taken so much time, made so much effort, spent money, made sacrifices to ensure that my love for myself is like up there, as high as it can be.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because we can say, you know, we should all be taking more accountability, but if you have grown up in care, or you've grown up in drama, in
100%.
in a horrible
low
household,
self-esteem is going to play a huge
and the thing is, if you haven't felt
part.
loved and you haven't felt safe and you haven't felt secure in your childhood, then you are more likely to become a younger parent, or a parent from a toxic kind of relationship, because you're used to that toxicity.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably don't even recognize
that is happening,
the signs, because like you said, this is your normal life, like, you know, this turbulence, and this is maybe like, whether it's violence or, do you know what I mean, abuse, or like that is normal. So yeah,
and even though you are hurting from it, and even though it's affecting your mental health, it's affecting your whole life negatively most of the time, you still may not fully be aware of how much it's affecting you, or fully be aware of how much there is damage. That's
or that you can do anything about it. Exactly. I think some people,
so much support, but we don't know.
Some people, I think, will just think, this is my life.
Yeah.
And especially, like, you know, if it's, you know, the people around you, it's probably their life as well. You know, like whether the area that you grew up in or this, like you all have this life. Just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's the norm.
It's norm. So you don't even recognize, like, oh.
And let's think now, even like, if you're not in the worst of the worst situations like I'm trying to describe, but even if you're just an average type of person and your life has been pretty okay, you still might not know the signs, because who actually sits down and talks to you about what's a healthy relationship?
Yeah, 100%.
Not only with yourself, but with others.
Lots of people base, obviously, relationships on the relationships that they saw.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, oh, my mum and dad have been married for 20 years and I want a relationship. Like, but it's like, hold on, what did you really see? Because your parents probably kept quite a lot from you, or do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't see what you saw some good things. Do you know what I mean? Like, you grew up in the house and mum and dad was there and like, or, you know, think about it, like, I don't know, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you know, like sometimes couples, they don't even speak that much. You know, like dad goes to work 50 hours a week. Do you know,
lack of affection.
You know them ones there, like dad comes home, mum's made the dinner. I really do think about those kind of older relationships, and it's like, so what, like you said, what did you actually see?
But when you think about the history of a man and a woman's relationship, it was always based on marriage. And in this country, for example, it was a very church country. Yeah. So if you base your faith and your morals and your like the social norms of those times, a woman got married to a man for financial stability, the man got with the woman for sex, and it was the norm to have a 2.4 kind of family setup.
And he definitely goes to work and she stays at home all day. Like I said, they don't actually spend that much time together. Do you know what I mean? Like what only come the weekend. So like you said, what did that actually teach people, us? Because I think some people just think my mum and dad have been together. Like, to me, you know,
that when people tell me that, I'm like, oh, that's nice, but I would, when I meet them,
it's like, what is success? Right, because
were they happy?
Right, because I'll be honest with you, when I was young, because my mum and dad weren't together, I was a bit envious of people whose parents were together. So for me, that was the criteria of a successful relationship. If your parents are still together, and if they're married, because my mum and dad never got married. So again, it was like, ooh, if you've got married parents,
you're on stuff.
Your parents are winning. Like, they must have this pattern down. But like you said, now as we're adults, we know all too well that people are in marriages and they are not happy and it is not working. And do you know what I mean? Blah blah. So that is maybe what some people have seen. So like you said, it is important to digest, like, what is a healthy relationship? Like, is that something we should be talking about then to our kids? Like, because like you said, it's about relationships with everyone. So you don't need to be sitting down to your kids and talking about healthy romantic relationships, but you'd be talking to them about what are healthy family relationships,
friendships,
what are healthy friends. Do you know what I mean? Like,
should and shouldn't be done.
Do you know what I mean? How you should treat your friends. If like, sometimes my daughter might tell me a situation at school that happened, and I let her know, like, that person's not being a nice friend if that's how they're making you feel. Do you know what I mean? And I do the same to her. Like, if she doesn't share or something, I'll be like, that's not how you should be in a friendship. So they're the things that we should be teaching our kids, and then that will lead into, as they get older.
But we have to demonstrate, because it's all good and well talking, because like one of
theory
the things,
is so much easier.
one of the things that I grew up with was my mum was telling me things, but she's doing another.
100%.
So it's 100%. Like, what do I end up doing? What she done? Not what she said. Really.
100%. I mean, all of women are. We are known for, we probably put up those good posts on Instagram that say, respect yourself, love yourself, don't accept a man if he's this, don't accept a man if he's that, and then behind closed door, a man that you seem to get some feelings for, you are letting him call you late at night, or not take you out, but still let him hit you like you said, and then
what? and then oh, you've got a baby on the way.
Exactly. That's usually how it ends up. So if we think about, okay, so you've mentioned obviously like criticism and stuff like that, because like, as we're talking about it, if you have a lot of respect for yourself and you have self-esteem and you know your worth and you know what is right, you will recognize what the kind of criticism is, like if it's because
if it's healthy or not,
because your friend could give you some feedback and advice, and you would know if they're just. But
the thing is as well, to have a healthy relationship, so to take constructive criticism from a partner or a friend or whatever, you have to be open to grow.
Yes,
because at a very basic level, your people, whether they be your friends or your man or your whoever, they should be able to love you and love you real. So when you're wrong, they can say that you're wrong with love, like in love. It might not be in love all the time if you're drunk and you're out, you're acting a fool. It might be a quick cussing, but when you get in the car, it's because I love you.
Innit, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or the next day, like, let's talk about what happened.
So I think that, like, at the core of everything we're saying, you need to be open to grow.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important thing, because in any relationship, you are going to be growing. Guess what? When you meet today, in 10 years' time, I'm not going to be the same person.
Yeah.
I'm going to have grown.
Yeah.
And hopefully you would have grown too.
And when a baby comes along, women, I think what we're kind of seeing, a pattern is that a woman will grow quite quickly. Yeah. Because the situation has been escalated. So a woman, she's kind of forced into maturing and taking on responsibility. But like you said, so how is the man growing as well? And are you compatible in growing together?
Yeah. What's a red flag for you in a relationship? Like, what's a no? Not aesthetics, not what he looks like, Sherelle. Not if he's got bust-up shoes, but, like, after you've done the niceties, you've met, you clicked, you got on, you've gone on a couple of dates, and then you're starting to see little truths now because, you know, the performance of who you are really starts to show.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think as a mum, parenting is a big thing that I look for.
But what if they're not a parent?
If they weren't a parent, so that's the thing. I always say that my ideal partner will already be a parent because.
Be careful what you wish for. You know?
Listen, I know. My reasoning in that is that. You can't be doing this from scratch. Like, what, we're about to have a child? Because, like you said, there's so many pressures and responsibilities that come with a child.
Your life, the man of your dreams, who God has got for you, may not have children.
I know, but that's I'm just saying. What I'm looking for when I hear something, that is what, like, I'm happy when they say they've got a child, and because straight away I start to ask questions like, how old is your child? Like, how often do you? I'm like, how often do you see them? Like, I want to be talking to you on the phone. I want to be hearing your kids in the background, or I want you to be telling me you're busy. Like, if I speak to a man and you said you got a child,
you're still available,
but I'm yet to see you tell me you're busy. No, honestly, that. I get a little bit nosy. I do start asking, like, oh, are you having your child this weekend? Or when no, I'll be honest, because that for me is like,
it's a massive thing.
You know, and it's a massive thing to me because I will be quick to say, if I don't think my daughter sees, if my daughter's dad don't see her enough, you know, I won't.
You're gonna hold someone else to that same level.
I have to, because some women, you know, they're just grateful because they're just like, cool, you're free all the time. No, like I've seen a couple guys where, like, it was actually hard for us to meet up because our weekends did not.
They clashed.
Then we couldn't see each other because I'm not going to ask you to duck your child, and I'm not going to be ducking my child. So it's quite. So even though that was difficult.
I'd rather that
rather than, you know.
It's the same when I got with my partner at the time. Him and his child's mum were going through some stuff, and I had to say to him when we knew that we were getting serious, I was like, that situation really needs to get resolved in some way, shape or form. Like, I get that it's difficult, I get that it's been difficult, because I'm a person, I'll hear you, but I will always remember that there's another side to a story. But obviously now it's all good. Yeah. But in the beginning I had to say to him, there's no way I'm playing house with you and my kids. You're in the house taking my kids out, doing what you need to do. We then end up having our own children, but you've got another child somewhere.
And not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
But not because, it's not always because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but that child needs to be in your life in some way, shape or form. That child needs to know that you love them. That child needs to know that you care for them and that you have not just moved on with your life and forgotten them.
Yeah.
Because for me as a child that had a dad not around, that was one of the things that always burnt. Has this man had more kids? Has he moved on and forgotten about the first child he had and not given a shit about me? But he don't have no kids, but no, I think it's really important, like, if you are getting in a relationship with another parent, then you need to, like, it wouldn't sit right with me to know that there's no connection there, there's no bond there, there's no care, there's no love and attention there, because you know you wouldn't be able to do that. So you're going to be sitting with my son, playing ha ha he with him, and then you're telling me you're never going to think about your own son?
Yeah, but some men,
I don't know.
Some men would argue that they're forced into that situation because the mums make it so difficult. Do you know what I mean? Because we are, you know, we do like to say that the dad should do everything they can and they should keep trying and they should. And
they should. Let's wave that flag high and wide. You should be raising your child to the best of your ability.
But like you said, I did see somewhere someone mentioned once to say, like, okay, let's address though the fact that some women are making it so difficult. Like,
they are. Some are.
Do you know what I mean? What
Some men are literally heartbroken because they cannot see their children. Like, you only have to watch the Baby Fathers podcast to see like some of the truths of some of these men.
In it, because who comes on it, like who takes the time to contact a show, come on a show, air your story for public to see, for whoever to see, if you know, if don't get me true, or not even, you know, and obviously, like you said, there's always two sides. So the person who's talking is telling their truth, their experience. Doesn't mean it's necessarily always the facts, and it might be different. But the point is, if you didn't care, you would not come on. So clearly you care about your, do you know what I mean? And if somebody, if a parent, man or woman cares, then they should be entitled to, you know, they should be allowed to see their child, and it shouldn't be made difficult like that. We can't we'll just say that by coming on the show, you're not really proving no point to your ex or your baby mom, or you're not scoring no points. You're not gaining nothing by sometimes it can make it could possibly make things worse. Like, you have to weigh up
exactly
what effect is this going to have. So I would assume that someone who comes on the show may be at a point where it can't get no worse. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to come on and ruin something because I've come on. It's probably because it's already at that point, and now obviously they want to share what they're saying. So the person isn't a parent. If they're not a parent, what's a red flag for your relationship? Forget the kids for a minute. Just the core of your relationship, because without it, girl, I've been single for 4 years. As desperation says. I'm just saying. I've been single for 4 years. That I don't know. Like, I could only speak like in theory, like hypothetically. That's like I know, but I don't know. I don't even know. All right. I don't even know. I mean, because I only know stupid things. Let's say you're in a restaurant. Yeah, and you've been on, say, 4 or 5 dates with this guy, and every time you go out, he's having some sort of beef with someone. It's not high level beef, it's not fights, it's not really kicking off, but it's low level unnecessary beef all the time. He's rude to the waiters, or someone bumps him, there's a problem, or I'd just be short. That would just turn me. I'd just be turned off. Right, but why? So this is a red flag. This is what I'm talking about. This is an example of a red flag. Why would you be turned off? You're not a very nice person. Like, you're just not a nice person. Like, I find attractive, like, men who are quite friendly. You know, when they're out, like I always. It's all love. You know, one time I say to one of my friends, like, every time we go somewhere, always talking to people. You know, like the waiter's always talking to you, or the woman. I turn around right, but like you said, that's a reflection of their personality, their character. Do you know what I mean? So that is what I would find attractive. What I would not find attractive is that you're getting angry or by people, or that you can't let things go. Or why would it put you off? And when thinking about a relationship that he then will have with you, I would say because he's going to treat me the same way every time I do something wrong. What about treating the kids? Like, you need to be a patient person. Do you know what I mean? I tell you, like, it's difficult for me to say what are red flags. Like, I think I've got to the point where I know what I'm looking for, or what I find attractive, or, you know, and it's not the stuff I used to find attractive. So it's not like just because of what you look like. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to get with you now. And it's not that. It is much more things, like you said, like good parenting, good, like, business, like career, like planning for the future goals. Like, if you talk to me about, you know, I've got this project and I'm working on that, them kind of things, I'm like, oh, they're ambitious. Just what about if a guy was really affectionate, called you all the time, told you that he loves you quite early on, very complimentary, took you around his family, wanted to be integrated into your family? I'd love that. Yeah, but within 2 months. What if it was a bit... I mean, sometimes I think things happen quickly. Sometimes if you know, you know. Sometimes I think if you know, you know. Like, the reason why I say that is because I'm going to have to base it on the two serious relationships I've had, the two people I've been in love with, and it happened very quickly. Like, it did, and we always used to kind of make jokes. Well, I used to say to them sometimes, how come we did last this long, considering we jumped in quite quick, you know, like even sleeping together quite quick and all that. Like, you really could have left, but that worked out. But then again, there's no kind of formula to say that's the way to go, because
the reason I brought that up is because like a sign of abuse is love bombing.
Yeah.
So there's a phrase called love bombing, and it basically means that the person will love on you like a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Quite quickly.
Yeah.
And that can be a sign of getting you to fall for them, getting you to drop your guard quickly, getting you to feel comfortable and open up to them.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, if that person is an abuser, then they have got free reign to take control and start manipulating.
Yeah.
And those are the things. And the reason I brought it up is because there are a lot of people, especially us females, because we're vulnerable to that shit.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been hurt, and then this guy comes in, he's good looking, he loves you, he's taking you out.
But especially when you've been waiting, like if that's what you're waiting for. Do you know?
I've been waiting.
This ain't about me.
No, it's not about her.
But I'm just saying, a woman who, like, if you've come from a broken relationship, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you've broken up, like you said, now you've got kids and it didn't work out with your baby father and and like you said, even if you've taken some time and you're like, I want to get it right the next time. So you're waiting for this next relationship to be, like you said, so then you are going to be open to someone coming along. And if they come along and you're not, from what you're seeing, any signs that they're doing anything wrong, because like you said, they're doing lots of good things.
It can
too much.
It can turn very quickly. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the reason it happens so quickly is because they're on a schedule. They're on stuff. They're on a roll. They're trying to get something out of you.
What about the men who are not necessarily abusers, and so are not necessarily doing that on purpose, but they may have their own issues where because there are some men, I've got some male friends who do fall in love too quickly. Like they too get, you know, it's not because they've got a plan or a sneaky plan, but they are too, become obsessed with a woman. They really like her. They do that. So because again, just someone doing all that sometimes can make you think, are they in love with me or are they in love with love? Do you know what I mean? The idea of love. Because if you don't know someone that well, then it can't be
the person.
You don't know them. Do you know what I mean? And at our age, I think, because we're older now, obviously, you know, we have our own places and we've got, you know, we drive and all that kind of stuff. It is easy to spend a lot of time with someone. Yeah, you know, like
not like when you're 19,
what, and you sit at home, right? And your parents can be monitoring the whole thing. When you get to a certain age, it's just like you can see someone quite a lot, like especially like if it just works out. Like if you like, there's a very difference in relationships. When I say relationships, they're not relationships, links. Links, they're different, right? When somebody lives close to me and someone lives far away.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see them way more.
Do you see what I mean? If someone lives close, just because it's convenience, and then next thing you know, you're around quite a few days a week. Do you know what I mean? Like you just, and that can make you think that this relationship is going well. We know each other. We spend lots of time with each other. You know, like, because we're big adults, like you do things by default. Like it's dinner time, so you eat together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but those words there, convenience and default, they're not the makings of a foundation of a relationship. Right. So this is what we're talking about. So yeah, and there is a fine line between, because we're all talking about signs now. So someone might be watching and saying, well, then how do you know the difference between someone that's just a really lovely person that is taking care of me and wants to take care of me and really like connects with me quite well, to somebody that is trying to love bomb me? Yeah. You will know, is what I'm saying. And you might not know, but you know, you will. It's always in the quiet still of the night that it always...
I also think other people might get a feeling.
Always.
Do you know what I mean?
Always.
A genuinely nice person, people around you, when you start to will be like, right.
Will feel
but
that same
like you said,
aura.
because that kind of person who's doing the love bomb and all that, they're only doing that to you.
Yeah.
So other people will pick up on the energy.
One little thing that pops to mind, because a friend of mine went through this like not so long, like a few years ago, and at the time we were really close. We saw each other like a few times a week. This is when my little one was newly born, yeah. And I just never met this guy, and I'm like, I see you so much, and your schedules are not that clashy that you couldn't be around. But I started to notice that I wasn't seeing her as much, and that's fine, that's normal. You're in the new thing. But it was like there was isolation starting to happen. That, oh, I love you so much, oh, I need to be around you. Oh, but I got to go to work. No, but I love you so much, let's take the day off.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I love you so much, so instead of going to your nan's, I'm going to take you on a date. Okay. And then before you know it, and what happens is it happens so subtly that before you know it, you ain't seen people for a while.
Yeah. And you think that it's your choice as well, because you too,
it's your choice.
You want to be with them.
Yeah, you're being adored.
Yeah,
so it's flattering.
I want to go. I want to go on this date. Yeah, you're not forcing me.
You see what I mean? So it starts subtly, because this is like when you think about domestic violence, for example. Like, people always say, "Oh, why did she just leave?" It never started off. He started beating you as you walked through the door. Like, it started off. I knew you. I knew who your people were. I knew who they weren't. I knew what I could get away with, and I knew what I couldn't. And then I started criticizing and verbally abusing you, and started to grind your self-esteem down so that you were literally nothing of yourself. Then the hitting starts. So why I'm saying what I'm saying is because it happens quite slowly. And if you're not reflective as a person, and go back to having a healthy relationship with yourself, if you're not reflective and you're not, I guess, monitoring who you are and how you're growing, then it's very easy for someone else to come in and manipulate.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you got to have your own life, like you said, like, see, because the things you mentioned, like, you got to go to work, or I'm going to my nan's. I will see you later, after, tomorrow. Like, you have to
that's a red flag.
That's what I'm saying. You have to normalize those things, like,
or having hobbies or male friends.
Because when I was remember being in a younger relationship, men weren't giving up any of their time to see you. Okay, I'm just saying, like,
they're going football.
I know, like, you say to a man, like, oh, you know, when am I going to see you this week? And he will give you his schedule and be like, well, Monday I got football, and this day I got to do this. And so it's basically like, if you are free in any of those babies, then I can see. Do you know what I mean? Well, as a girl,
we'll be bending over backwards.
There have been times I am ashamed to say that my friends will ask me if I want to do something, and I'll say
no.
I'll say, if blah blah doesn't want to meet me, like literally, do you want to go out on Friday? If he doesn't want to see me, if I don't plan something with him, if, you know, I don't want to tell you now on Tuesday, but really, make your plan. Let me make my plan with you, and then if he asks to see me on Friday, I'm busy. I have plans, but you know,
and it's not to do it to score points.
It's like, not. Let's make that. It's clear. Not point scoring. It's just
have your own stuff. So that's if you lack independence in your relationship. So that is a codependency.
Exactly.
So where you are
definitely going to go, that's going to go so wrong so quickly. And then, I mean, if you brought a child into that as well, like, if you're, you know, if you don't have many friends, if you don't go anywhere, you don't do nothing, and then once you get a baby, you will be in the house all the time,
all by yourself,
because he will be gone. Do you know what I mean? Whether he'll still be doing the schedule that I spoke about, like, he's still going to go football,
and
work,
entitled
friends,
to still live to that as well.
And then you're going to be, you know,
but you're the mum.
That's why
you're the mum. So you should be there. The word should be eliminated in relationships, I think.
Well, I mean, I think obviously things have changed a bit. I saw somewhere the other day that said, just a poll that said, can dads be stay-at-home parents?
Did you remember the percentage?
Well, I don't know. It was a bit, it was a little bit of a, you know,
mix.
Yeah, and it was just like, why not? Why can't they? I mean, if it comes down to, I think, jobs, professions, like,
and the choice of that family and couple, like, whose business is it?
Like, especially like in today's day and age, there's quite a lot of men who are trying to be like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Therefore, they might actually have more flexibility to be staying at home with the child, because they might be able to work from home, work different hours. Do you see what I mean? So
we got a couple friends, and they she works like quite long hours, and where he is working at home, he'll do the school run, the pick up, and the dinner and whatever.
Because they can,
because it works. It just works for their
especially
family.
in today's age. If that's how if you're a business owner or even whatever, an influence, anything. If your job does not require you to walk into a building from 9 to 5, then you have a lot more flexibility. So
why not?
Why not? Dads can see that change in role, but it's a bit. I think it's taken us a bit of time to get used to because if you think about it, right, like you said, the woman becomes the mum, and that's her job. Yeah. So if that's not her job, what would she do? Do you see what I mean? Like, all too often, like I know, I've been there. Us mums are like, poor me. Yeah. I look after these kids all the time. Yeah. I do everything. Yeah. I cook, I clean, I go to work. That's what we say. We're always saying it's hard. Yeah. So if we didn't do it, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? Like,
I actually said to my good friend the other day, like, can you picture, because we were going out for, where were we going, for brunch or something, so we obviously didn't have our children with us, and I was like, can you imagine just like on a regular Saturday just phoning your brethren and being like, right girls, where we going, like, and not have to think about who's watching them, pre-plan, have you done the dinner first, have you made sure this is done, have you done like, can you imagine just like waking up and your life? I mean, you didn't have your daughter at a young age. I did. Yeah. So that's all I know.
You haven't had that for ages.
Yeah. Like, I miss it. I don't remember being just Tamsin.
Well,
I don't even know who that person is.
100%.
Like, where is she?
100%. I miss it, definitely. As I make quite clear on my Instagram.
What do you think of this statement? Men give love to get sex. Women give sex to get love.
Oh, sounds about right to me.
You think?
Well, yeah, I mean, it does sound right, because I feel like men will say and do all the right things. Like, what is it that they're really looking for? A relationship commitment, because half of them will say, I don't want a relationship, I don't want commitment, I don't want this. So what is it that you want? You want obviously sexual pleasure. Do you know what I mean? Pleasure. That's what you want. And women mistake sex for something else. Like 100%. Otherwise, we would not have so many kids out there. That is how that happened. Like, the babies came because, no, I'm just saying, like, because, you know, all too, you know, in this day and age, it has become more, you know, like that women like sex more, and
we're more outspoken. It's more politically correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Accepted that we do like
that
sex.
That we do like sex, and that we may have sex because we want to have sex. Like, you know, you can meet a woman today who will tell you she don't want to be with you. She just wants to have sex. Yeah, like 100%. That is becoming the norm. Like that happens, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, depending on where you're at in your life and what you're looking for. So that's absolutely fine. But let's not pretend that there are still plenty situations where women are having sex to just be with the man. Like, don't pretend like you want him to come over at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, stop it. Like, and like I say, unless you
stop it.
No, I'm just saying, because like,
don't lie to yourself, girl.
No, listen, I'll be. There are times when that is what I want. Like, I don't want to be with you. Yeah. Like, you're not the person for me.
You're
like,
not gonna be my husband.
I might have gone out and had a drink. So there are clearly some times when, yes, I do want you to come over at 1 o'clock in the morning and I want us to have sex. Yeah. But there are also some times where I just like the person. I really like you, and I want to spend time with you. And the fact that you said, I can come round, but I can't come round till later, you know, because I've just got to do some things first. So I'll come round at 1, and then what I'm saying, what is that? What am I getting out of that? Because at 1 o'clock in the morning, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Put a film on? Like, chill, really talk. The only thing you can do at 1 o'clock is have a little bit of conversation and then sex. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? So you blatantly did then give the sex in order to get
the love,
the other stuff. You blatantly did, and hoping that, you know, if they stay and then you get some time with them, and like, that is all. That's all warped. Like, don't get me wrong. If what you want is just sex, that's absolutely fine, because that's great. You know, when you meet two people
that want the same,
that are on the same page. Like, men must really think they've basically hit the jackpot when they meet a woman who says to them, I don't want a relationship, I just want to, because then you've got two people on exactly the same page. You can both call each other at certain times, you know what time it is, you do what you're doing, you might leave after,
but
blah, blah.
For how long do you think a woman can really sustain that with the same one person?
Well,
that is a decent person.
Well, this is what I was going to say. It depends.
That's why I added that in, because
it depends.
If he's a fool, then
it depends, because if, like you said, if you know already, like, I don't want to be with this person. Like you said, if you've already seen some things like, that's not going to work for me. I don't want to be with this, or you do this, and then cool, you're just having sex. But like you said, if you get on. Like, we get on. Yeah. We have a laugh.
That's what I mean.
We have fun. Then that is, a woman is always going to be like...
open, for me, in my opinion, that's the open door. You're opening it just day by day for the heartbreak.
Do you know what I mean?
He's waiting for it. You're waiting for the heartbreak.
I feel like women...
I've actually heard women
go on to that.
I'm gonna get him.
I was gonna say, because men... I'm
gonna change his mind.
I feel like it doesn't matter how long a man has sex with a woman, yeah? He doesn't change his mind. Yeah. No, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like,
a woman can change her mind.
A woman will be like you said, 2 months down the line, 4 months down the line, and then 6 months down the line, a woman, and you lot will have just had sex, and then she'll be in the bed, and then she'll say to you, like, especially if you said you didn't want a relationship in the beginning, she'll be like, well, it's been 6 months now, so we're just gonna approach that conversation, and she just might be like, you know, she'll be like, we've been getting along, and it's been quite a while, and
voice. That's how we don't all speak like that.
I feel like that's how it sounds, Becky. But whereas I feel like a man, he never says, you know what? I've been linking her for good.
She's a good woman, you know.
We get along. We really get along. Like, everything's been going good. She don't put no pressure on me. Everything's working out. I think I want it. It's never babes.
Unless, but you do get them guys that the pussy is so good that they do not want to see you with anybody else.
Yeah, but they definitely don't want to be with you.
They don't want to be with you, 100%. But they don't want to see you with no one else.
Okay, cool. They're gonna mug you. They're
the ones that are I think they're more dangerous, because they will keep you on a hanging string if you're stupid enough. Well, I shouldn't say stupid. If you
fell for it.
Yeah, if you fall for it. Really. If you fall for it. But they'll have you hanging on a string, waiting for the 1 o'clocks and the 3 o'clocks and the random times at night to...
Well, because I think, obviously, you know, maybe like, I think 10 years ago, like when we were much younger and stuff, men used to hide more their intentions, like, you know, it wasn't... And then now it's got to...
I think at like 24, 25,
when really, you should have been able to say it then. You should... At 20-something, you shouldn't have had to say, I want to be in a relationship.
Let's be real. Like, an 18-year-old boy and an 18-year-old girl... Generally speaking, the girl is more mature than the boy. Yeah. So the growth from between 18, 19 to a man of 25, it's not that much. Unless he's had a kid, he's had to move out of home, he's independent, he's had to like survive on his own, then that's life experience. That will cause him to grow up faster. But the average guy that kind of lives at home, is doing their thing, from 19 to 25, I don't want to like generalize, but the growth between a female and a male is a bit different. Not all, but just some. Yeah. So a 25-year-old man is still excited by how much chicks he's beating.
Do you know what?
Whereas a 25-year-old woman is like, when am I going to be ready to have a kid?
Yeah, well, she's thinking of time. She's already thinking of time.
Unfortunately, biologically,
she's thinking of time and age, and she's just not excited anyway by the, you know, like she's not going to be thinking how many men can I sleep with, because you'll be thinking, I need to stop. I need to keep this down. Yeah. Like, how many is too many? Yeah. That's what, that's women will be thinking, too many. Yeah. Men will be thinking, I need more. But I was just thinking that would be a red flag for me. Age. I'll be honest with you. Age. Yeah. Age is a issue for me.
What way? Higher or lower? Or both?
Lower.
Reasons.
Lower.
Okay.
Because...
I don't go lower anyway.
Right, I try not to. I try not to go lower, but I feel like I look quite young, so I do get young men trying to talk to me. Because I've never dated anyone really too.
Older than you.
Yeah, not really. Like not older than 38, and I'm 35. But age is a thing for me, and you know, men who are young who might be trying to talk to me. They might be trying to argue with me, or not argue, but reason with me as to why age is not
that important,
not a factor. But like you said, I just cannot.
Yeah.
With, you know, if I'm 35, I'll be honest with you, a man who's 30, like you said, I feel like you're not a woman 30, you're a man 30. So I'll be honest, I'm giving you like 3-4 years underneath 30. So I'm 35 and you're now 26. So like, I'm just saying, like, it can't work. Like, I do get younger men trying to talk to me all the time. And
what do you find the difference between a man of our age and a man that's, say, 27?
Right. I'll be honest with you, dating men my age, that's not working either. Because no, it's not working. What I'm saying is, it's just not a red flag. What it means is, you say you're 33, 34, like, I'm gonna continue chatting to you, but I ain't really seeing any difference because I'm sick of men my age telling me they don't want a relationship. What the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Like, when are you gonna get it then? You fool! Like, you are 30 something years old. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't even have...
All right, but maybe for some situations, a guy might have been in a relationship from young. So say like
100%.
Childhood sweethearts, they got married or they got real together early. They had a child early.
Timing. I always ask men when was their last relationship. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want to. I don't want to hear that you just broke up with someone and it's been like 6 months. Because, like you said, being in relationships are work. Yeah. And you have to put that work in. You have to commit to it. So when you get out of one, you shouldn't really want to go back into like you said, there's no time for yourself. So I do ask people, when was the last time you had a relationship? Because really, I want to hear that you've had maybe a year break and you got
it out your system.
Do you see what I mean? And you had a little bit of fun and you're actually bored of that fun now. Maybe you're bored of being alone.
Yeah, you want a connection
and
now.
you want a real connection now. That's what I wanna hear. So I do not get when a man is telling me, what else you want then? Like, are you joking? You can't even have young sex no more. Men our age you can't even go
with your dad
how many rounds exactly with your dad bod and your no energy. So what is it that you're trying to do? Who are you trying to have sex with? You're kidding yourself. No, I've met loads of men my age who say like, yo, I can't go too many rounds. I know you can't. So stop acting and find your one woman and be quiet. Don't get me started. But what I'm saying is, the young men.
Well, men will say that a relationship, when they don't want a relationship, the things I hear are, it changes things. I'm not sure if she's the actual one that I want to spend like a lot.
Because I've heard that from men. Men are trying to be quite
careful.
I hear a lot of men saying.
I respect that, but what they do whilst they're saying that,
I'm gonna say,
is
they
sleep
still
with
their people.
the woman. They sleep with her. They take her on dates. They come around the kid. They go to the family functions. But then at the left, you say, "Oh, but I don't want a relationship." I mean, bruv, what are you talking about?
100%.
You're in a relationship, 100%. Whether you like it or not.
I think men are starting to say like. I'm looking for, like you said, a certain person, and she's gonna have to be like, but in order for her to be my wife, she's gonna have to be. So, like you said, in the meantime, they're just doing whatever because that's what you keep saying. Like, what you should do?
Don't play house.
Yeah, what you should do is
keep them boundaries.
Is stop, because, like I said, unless you meet a woman who agrees that she too just wants to do this, then what you are really doing is playing with a lot of women's. You are, even if you've told her from the beginning that you don't want something serious,
but 3 years down the line,
you know what you're like. You know if she's, even if it's like 6 months down the line, if she's falling for you. You know if she's, like you said, playing house, like if she's cooking for you. Because listen, there's been guys that are like, you just come over, we do what we're doing, whatever. Bye. You don't get no little wife time, like little. You're not getting that. So if a woman is doing that for you, men are like, well, this is great. She cooked for me. She does this. She does that.
Question. the woman's giving the love. The woman's giving the sex to get the love.
Yeah.
But while she's giving the sex, she's also playing house and giving food because she's trying to change the mind. You can't change the man's mind by cooking him a nice meal.
No, you can't.
The pussy is still the pussy.
And all
you just fed him on top of it.
Yeah, and all he'll see that as is like, this is kushti. Like,
Yeah.
this is kushti.
Why would I commit in a situation when there's nothing I'm gonna get anymore?
Yeah, I'm already getting all of this.
Yeah, I'm getting everything I want. Here's my plate. I'm literally eating off of it. Thanks, babes, but you're not really my babes. And then, do you know what I mean?
And then this is where obviously it leads into, if a baby is
if I knew this shit when I was 18,
right?
My gosh,
you know.
I hope there's like some young girls watching this, because I'll be real with you. I will save you 5 years of bullshit heartache.
100%. 100%.
It is not worth it.
100%.
The games that you want to play, but maybe he means, nah, babes, he meant what he said. Yeah? Just believe what he says.
But what I think
because I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because we will believe them when they're saying the nice shit about us. You're sexy. Your pom-pom tongue up. I like your breasts. Your eyes are beautiful.
You're beautiful.
But we won't believe when they say, but you know what? I'm not in the right place to have a relationship. We will think, oh, he needs me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one to change him.
He needs some time.
He needs a bit of time.
Let me show him.
Let me show him
what I can give him.
The coming to the door.
Yeah. Let me show you him what I can give him in a relationship, and then he'll like it so much that he won't want to go. No, because he's already getting it for free.
No, all that he will do is he will stay for the 3, 4, 5 years, but you will just be a ting. I'm saying it from experience, unfortunately.
One thing we haven't mentioned is men who are in relationships and then have their side woman on the side, like they're because let me ask you this question: who is at fault there? Is it the man who's stringing the woman along, or is it the woman?
Both.
Like
both.
Do you know what I mean?
Both.
Like, okay, so let's break that down. What's the man? I think that's easy to say what the man's doing wrong,
because he has a relationship and he's not being faithful. He's not only lying to himself, but he's lying to the woman that believes that he's the wife. He's also lying to himself, which is very dangerous. Which, you know, it just keeps you stunted at this level and you're never growing. But then the woman is at fault for believing what he says. Sorry, if you enter something that's not clear, that you cannot speak about in public, that you cannot show people publicly, that is not in the open, anything that's in the darkness eventually will come to light, for one. But if it can't be done in the light and it's being done in the dark, then you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong.
Things in the dark are wrong.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
That's why people
they're
stay
dangerous.
in it.
They're interesting.
It's sexy. It gets your heart racing.
Like that's it. Nothing done in the dark is good. Like that's not gonna happen. Like, come on, let's be serious. But what I'm thinking, like,
when you say who's at fault, are you talking about when the woman eventually ends up getting hurt, or are you talking about what are you referring to?
Well, I'm just referring to like if a woman said to me that she is seeing a man who's in a relationship, my first thing wouldn't even be to say he's wrong. My first thing would be to say, are you an idiot? Like, what are you doing? Like, I wouldn't be like, back in the day, Jerry Springer days, it used to literally be the man is this, the man, like literally you attack the man, you know, they fight. But I would be like, I would literally be like, are you okay? Like, what are you doing?
The sad thing is, because over the years I've had like a few girlfriends that have been in situations like that, and
it does happen. It does happen. And like, come on, we can't be judging, because it definitely happens, and there's all types of reasons how it happened. It's not necessarily you just were seeking out.
One of the things that I think about, because there is this unspoken culture that it is accepted to be a side chick, that
blows my mind.
Don't screw up your face.
No, it just blows my mind. I don't get it.
There's a normalised culture.
I thought the culture was side tings who are happy to be side tings, so they don't want to be the main ting. Like, you know, like when all that them
that in itself is another thing.
I know, but when them songs came out, a side chick, like that was a side chick was someone who wanted to be the side chick. She don't want to be the main chick. She's happy to be the side chick. Sometimes side chicks are multiple side chicks because
what type of people are listening to them songs? The young people. What does music do?
Yeah, cool.
Condition the mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you listen to something long enough, you start to believe it. It starts to become your norm. So
that's why things become very sexualized now, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like,
so
it's
okay
to
if it's a norm,
dance,
to
wherever, be the
you're
side
not loyal
chick.
to no one. You're not loyal to the other woman. You're not loyal to the wife. Yeah, because you don't know her.
Yeah.
So you have
sisterhood
no
went out the window.
Your loyalty is to your damn self.
Yeah.
So you can sleep with whoever you like.
Get what you want.
You get what you want. If he wants to step out of his relationship,
if that's on him.
Fuck up
I'm
his
not
family,
doing nothing wrong. I ain't got a man.
If it ain't me, it's gonna be another chick.
Yeah.
So that's how some women see it.
True. But let's think about then the women who don't want to just stay side chicks, they are hoping to become the main chick
because they believe in what he's telling them.
Right, because they believe in what he's saying. But how on earth can you ever think that a man who is capable of lying, sneaking around, cheating, you know, going back in his house, like he's had sex with you and then goes back in his house, he kisses up his kids, how on earth can you think that man is going to be a good man for you one day?
But why does some... Yeah, but to some women, that's more attractive. That a man is a good man.
He left for you.
The man is a good man. He's got a wife. He can sustain a whole relationship. He can sustain a whole family. That's attractive. Some women go for that shit.
Oh, right. And then don't
ask me no questions about it. I'm just
you're raising a good point. So the woman
find that attractive and think
she basically wanted to take.
She wants that position. That position.
I get you.
So if they can get that position with the sex and the cooking and the outfits,
and they can get it two ways. Either he falls for you more than his wife and he will leave, or he'll get found out and then she'll break up with him. So by default, he has to leave. So now he's with you,
and you're lumbered with him.
Do you see what I mean? So you will get the. That's true. You
have to think about everything from all angles.
That's true. I never thought about that one. All I kept thinking is because all I kept seeing was, why
Why would you do
that is cringy. Like because I've had men before. Like they might have girlfriends and then they might be trying to chat me up and it's like, why would you think I find that attractive? Like nothing you can say. You cannot say you're so beautiful. Like I've got a girlfriend, but you're so. That is not attractive. That is making me think. Yeah.
All right. Let's think about the women that are, say they're single mums. They've been hurt by their baby father. They're going through drama. Their kids are pretty small. They can't really do social things that they want to do. And this guy, he's got a girl, but they only smash anyway. So it's like, well, it is what it is.
That's a different scenario in the sense of she's not being, you know, manipulated. She's not waiting for him to break up with someone. She is actually using him.
Yeah.
It's the same way men...
Or it's a two-way.
Or they're using each other. But my point is, she is not... There's a difference between a woman who is getting hurt and is in a situation. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not really in control of this situation, right? To a woman who is, and then obviously in today's society, it has come a bit more about where. Yeah, is it the woman's job to think about her next woman? Like, is that on her? Like you said, she's not doing it. Like she ain't got a man.
And then there are the situations where the man don't say, and you're in a whole full-blown relationship.
That's wrong.
You don't know.
That's wrong. That's what I'm saying. So that's wrong.
There's all different scenarios, and I think all of them in those situations are unhealthy, and the man in all of those scenarios is wrong. Yeah,
because he's pretty much in control in a lot of those situations. He has. I was about to say he has all the facts.
Exactly.
In all those situations we mentioned, he is fully aware of the situation. He's quite in control, and he is making his decisions very much based on what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
what I would say is a lot of the scenarios we've talked about today, a lot of the unhealthy signs and things we've talked about today,
and there's more,
and there's plenty more, but a lot of them are the beginnings of parenting, are the beginnings of the pregnancy journey and children being born
in these mad situations.
And so then we have to ask ourselves, how on earth is healthy parenting going to come from any of the scenarios that we've talked about? How on earth? Oh, what, you was a side chick, now you're having a child, but now you lot is cool and you lot can communicate and get on well. Or you wanted to be, do you know what I mean? Like, or you wanted to be with this man, but he didn't want to be with you. Or you didn't know him that long and now you've had a child. Or he was abusing you or not treating you right. And how on earth is that gonna...
Or he left you, he's gone to another girl, and you got yourself pregnant because you thought, nah, he ain't going over there.
Right, how on earth is that going to lead to, but you know, now we can do what's right by the child, we can communicate, we can get on well, we can have discussions.
Well, it's like, as you said at the beginning, it's like you can have a seemingly very good relationship with somebody, and then a child comes into the situation, and then all of these pressures, the money, the childcare, the time, the night times, the being tired all the time, the sacrificing of your social life, the involving each other's families way more, because when you're dating, you're not really dating the family. It's a lot of stuff that changes.
But what I'm saying is that if the situation starts off in a positive way, in a positive relationship, blah, 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 and a baby comes along and it might change things, you know, you don't know how long things are going to last. You could be with someone for 5 years, then have a child, and
it still go left.
Yeah, and it might not even necessarily, you know, not blaming the child. You can't blame the child. It's the changing relationship. Just like a relationship can just end after 5 years without a child if you're not growing in the same way. But I think a lot of people, when they hear people's stories, right? Like, you know, if we were sitting down now and you was a guest and you just explain any of those situations that you were in,
you'd be thinking,
outside people are going to be looking at it saying, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you walk, you know what I mean? Like,
you walked into it.
Do you know what I mean? We can have sympathy for women who you know, it weren't the beginning of this, and things have changed to whatever reason. But we've got to start holding women a bit more accountable for what situation you're in before it goes to the step where you have a child, because you could actually save yourself
and your child
a lot of trauma and pain if you recognize signs. If you leave that relationship, you're actually doing yourself a favor, because what it means is you've got the chance to get it right.
And you're not lumbered with this dickhead's child.
Literally, you literally walk away, and then you are free to meet someone
who is worthy,
proper, where you can actually get it right and avoid all this situation. Do you know what I mean? Like,
the thing is, I agree with you that we should all be, like, especially as women, we should be accountable, and also not only before the child comes, but after the child comes, because it was rocky before. Let's determine, is he a shit dad or was he a shit man to you?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not talking about abuse, because you know how much I'm
abuse
is a no.
That's next
verbal, physical, emotional, any type of abuse, I'm not for it.
No, you hit the nail on the head there. Not a good
man,
boyfriend
to you,
man. Didn't treat.
So when we're talking about being accountable, it's not that we don't love our women, because we love each other as girlfriends. We love our female friends, and we will support everyone to the day we die. That's why you have the guests on here, But at the same time, when you're talking about being accountable, it's not just the women. It's all of us as humans. It's all of us as people. We all need to be accountable when we are entering a relationship. Who am I? What are my flaws? What are the things I'm really shit at? What do I do time and time again? What patterns do I fall into? What behaviors do I consistently get annoyed at for myself. Because when you're honest with yourself, it's so much easier to be honest with others. So when my man says to me, Tamsin, yeah, but you're rude. Like, some people take you're too blunt. I'm like, oh, whatever, babe, yeah? But at the same time, I have to take on board what he's saying, because how he perceives me might be the same way that Sarah and Jane and Mary might perceive me as well. Even though my intention is to just be saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if somebody can say to you, this is what you do, and you already recognize it in yourself, you can be like, you know what, thank you for pointing that out. Don't take it like, you know, someone's just getting at you. It is what it is. Just take
it might not necessarily change, but you just be aware.
Yeah, but being aware makes you, you know, alter the severity of who you are.
Of course.
And you know when to switch it on and off. Like, my kids will say to me, oh, mummy, why are you talking in that voice when I pick up the phone?
Yeah.
That's my work voice. That's my people voice.
Yeah.
This is my...
And the rudeness will still be in you. It's not like it can't come out, but it should just come out more when it needs to.
But the thing is, I don't intend to be rude. And this is...
Neither do I, babe.
This is the conversations we have. But it is about... But I need to know that when I'm in certain situations, to tone certain things about myself down, because it's not always called for. But the point I'm getting at is, when you're being accountable for yourself, especially after you've had the child, and you need to heal. Yes, I've said it in an episode before, there should be a period, and who's to say how long that period should be? It should be between you and that person, the person you've had the child with, where you agree, like, right now we need to put these boundaries in place because we're clearly not getting along. My sister can meet, my mum can meet, somebody can come and help us do the changeovers, the handovers and whatever. Somebody else that we're both accountable to, that we both respect and knows the situation, knows us. I know this is an ideal, you know, it's not ideal. Always going to happen. It's not always going to be able to happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you can, after you've gone through that period of getting at each other, you have to be accountable. Is it a father that he's being shit at, or is it me? Am I hurt by how he treated me, or am I disappointed, not accepting, and fucked off by the way he's treating my child? Yeah, because there is a massive difference.
100%. And another key thing to mention is, have I learned, like you said, have I taken accountability and learned before I get into a next relationship? Because there are some women who have multiple baby fathers who are all doing the same thing. So like you said, it could happen once and you didn't know and you didn't see the signs and you were young and but like you said, surely you can't make the same mistake again.
3, 4, 5, 6,
because like you said, now you've got a child in play. You can't change the first situation, but you definitely should be able to stop it from happening again. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know, that was a good conversation. We talked about a lot of areas there, a lot of different things as the thing, but obviously the main theme was unhealthy relationships. So I encourage everyone to address their own relationships, reflect on yourself, and try and like if there's any positive things that you've heard in the conversation.
Sorry, I know you're trying to close, but the point of this is the point of this is, when you're happy, your kids are happy. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. When you're set, when you're good, when you know your boundaries and you've put them in place and you're respecting the situation for what it is, your children are so much more healthier. There's no playing off dad from mum. There's no watching you being depressed and all of these things.
And everything you're doing, like you said about the role modeling, what you're teaching them, the relation. Like your child might only be 3 and you think what's going on is nothing to do with them. But like you said,
they're absorbing everything.
The energy that they need to be absorbing needs to be positive for their their growth as a child, their development, and then later on their character and relationship and all that. So that's definitely a good point. That's the whole point of this conversation is for the children. That's what we're here for. All right, well, I better close this up because otherwise she'll start talking again. You know, it's always a good show when I've got you on. We're never
short for topics.
Yeah, there's never a pause, guys. This was not edited. It just ran the whole way through. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. Tamsin will be back for more episodes, hopefully. And we'll see you again. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, follow on Instagram. I've been Shells. She's been Tamsin. We've been the Baby Mothers.